Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jazzy RN. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new here, welcome back. The goal of my channel is to help nurses pivot from the bedside to remote work. And just a little bit of background about me, I have 9+ years experience working remotely as a utilization review nurse, and I've worked for 3 different companies. This first company is called Claris Health, and they're hiring an LPN clinical reviewer. This job is remote. The salary is $22 to $25 per hour. Your working schedule will be Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I always go straight to the qualifications or requirements to make sure I meet those qualifications before applying. You must have a graduation from an accredited LPN or LVN program with an active license in good standing, experience in a healthcare and or telephonic outreach environment, comfort operating in a high-volume, metrics-driven setting with simultaneous documentation requirements, navigating electronic documentation systems, and Microsoft Office tools. I do want to stress you should always put platforms on your resume. So if you know Epic, Cerner, Protouch, Meditech, Microsoft Office, any platforms you've learned on the job, and let's say you are at the same job you've had since you finished nursing school, I would also include the platforms you learned in nursing school, because when you did your clinicals, you learned each electronic medical records for each hospital you actually worked for or did your clinicals in. And exposure to MTM, transition of care, or Medicare and Medicaid programs is a plus, but not required. And the skills and abilities, you can review that and look it over at your own leisure. Next, if you were to go to the description box below, you'll see this link. It's for the Cure to Bedside Burnout. I created this myself. It's a list of over 90 companies that hires nurses to work remotely. The majority of these companies hire nurses in the United States. There are some companies here that hires nurses who live in Canada, the Philippines, Australia, and more. If you scroll more towards the bottom of this little list here, you'll see some links where you can do your own due diligence and research the companies you're applying to. One is Glassdoor, Reddit. I really enjoy Reddit, and here are 2 threads I use the most: Remote Nursing Job Board and Remote Nursing. There's also Comparably, Team Blind, and Fishbone. Right below that, this link will take you to my Udemy course. It's called Remote Nursing, the Cure to Bedside Burnout, and I go over interqual, MCG. I also go over, I believe it's 18 questions that will help you with the interview process, interviewing with human resources or the hiring manager, and more. The next one is, this link is Office Essentials, and it will take you to an Amazon page regarding items you should buy for your office. Not all of these items I would say are mandatory, but I do highly suggest you get a memory foam cushion for your office chair. Now your chair, you don't want to spend $100 or more buying a chair. You just want to get a comfortable chair that has a nice back and armrest, and this seat here will work for you, whatever kind of chair you actually happen to have at home. And I do suggest you get a desk with a metal frame. This is similar to what I have at home. Just in case you decide you want to move your desk from one part of your home to the next, or you end up moving somewhere. I did have a desk that was pressed wood, and when I moved, the desk just fell apart. It just couldn't take the move. The next one is, I believe this is 24 questions and answers about working remotely. You can go over this at your leisure as well. And the next one is resume tips. As I said, to add platforms to your resume. Here's an example: adding Epic, Microsoft Office, Cerner, so on and so forth. You want to make sure you write your resume with this in mind. Focus on what you did, why it's important, and how it relates to the job that you want. And here's an example: Proficient in electronic health record documentation to ensure continuity of care, to provide insurance payer data to determine medical necessity. And this is basically how bedside nursing relates to insurance nursing as a utilization review nurse. And on the right here is a template of how your resume should look. This is how mine looks. And I also stress that whenever you are writing your resume, your current job, make sure it is in present tense, and your previous jobs, make sure those are written in past tense. Next one is an example of bedside nurse versus insurance nurse. So a bedside nurse has a patient, the insurance nurse has a member. The bedside nurse and insurance nurse has the same diagnosis for this patient, aka member, and on the left-hand side in red, where it says the radiology tech performs abdominal and pelvic x-ray, and the results are CT positive for bowel obstruction. Doctor's order is an NG tube to suction, IV fluids 100 cc's an hour, and NPO. On the insurance side, I have experience with both Interqual and MCG, but more years of experience using Interqual. And I already have bowel obstruction memorized. It's so easy just to memorize. So for bowel obstruction, Interqual criteria, in order for this member to meet medical necessity and for the insurance nurse to approve the authorization, the clinical must state the member has a bowel obstruction that's positive. Imaging, a CT, the imaging positive for a bowel obstruction. The member must be NPO, NG tube to suction, and continuous IV fluids. If all these criteria are met, then the insurance nurse can approve the authorization. So if you scroll down a little bit more here, you're going to see what you do as a bedside nurse directly relates to what is reviewed by an insurance nurse. And where does the insurance nurse obtain this clinical? Everything that you enter in everything you enter in everything you enter in Cerner, Meditech, Protouch, etc., not only you, but the CNA, the doctors, the radiologists, whoever enters information on that clinical medical records and whatever electronic health record platform you're using, that is sent to the insurance provider so that the insurance nurse can review for medical necessity. So it comes from the hospital. So the clinical and the charting is done by the hospital staff. It doesn't matter if it's a nurse, a CNA, whoever. Below that is if you wanted to go online and get certification in Interqual or MCG, here are your options. This one is for Interqual and this one's for MCG. These links, you actually cannot click on it to go there. You just want to search and look for the certification. You can just type in Interqual certification and MCG certification and find these, and both are the same price, which is $200, and I believe they're both also live courses. So the MCG is 14 weeks. The Interqual doesn't say how many weeks this is, but just the FYI, I'm not taking any of these courses, and I'm not actually promoting them, just showing you an option of what you can do if you want to have your resume and application more marketable. But whatever job you work or whatever company you work for, they will train you how to use MCG and Interqual. There are some companies that require you to have certification, but the companies I've worked for have not required certification, and the companies that I've worked for are major insurance providers. Next company is Trend Health Partners, and they're looking for a nurse coder, DRG auditor. This is US remote, and for this company, the requirements are an active RN professional license in good standing, clinical practice experience, that's just the bedside, coding certification in good standing. Example is a CCS, CPC, or CIC, coding validation or auditing experience, well-developed verbal and written communication skills coupled with recognizable organization, ability to effectively prioritize tasks, and Microsoft Office experience, specifically Excel. So this position looks like it's very much Excel driven. Now Excel is used in utilization review, but we don't do anything that is an advanced version of Excel. We're actually looking at the Excel documents. We may be copying and pasting authorizations into the platform we're using. One insurance company I worked for, they had us use an Excel sheet where whenever we worked on authorization, on that Excel sheet we had to put the time we started the authorization and the time we finished. But most jobs using utilization review, you don't actually are using Excel that much. Preferred skills are appeals experience, a plus, APR, DRG experience, a plus, client communication experience, a plus, so on and so forth. You guys can read these at your leisure. The next job is with ExamWorks. They're hiring a clinical quality assurance coordinator. This one is $25 to $28 hourly. They're looking for an LPN, LVN, or RN. This job is 100% remote. Your schedule is 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The qualifications are, of course, high school diploma with minimum of 2 years clinical or related field experience or equivalent combination of education and experience in peer review, clinical documentation review, or medical necessity assessments, familiarity with CMS guidelines, interqual, Milliman and MCG, that's the same thing, are payor policies. Prior employment with insurance carriers, TPAs, that's third party something, are managed care organizations, must have strong knowledge of medical terminology, anatomy and physiology, medications and laboratory values, must be able to add, subtract, multiply. I'm going to skip that one. That's normal. It must be a qualified typist with a minimum of 40 words per minute, and so on and so forth. Just make sure here you have put Microsoft Word, Outlook, Excel, and Internet on your resume and application. And then this job is with Chubb. I never heard of Chubb. This is my first time hearing about Chubb. But Chubb is hiring a telephonic nurse case manager, and they're hiring from Minnesota, Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, and Dallas, Texas. And the education experience, you must be have an RN license in good standing. This is required, and willingness to obtain additional licenses as needed. A Bachelor of Science in Nursing is preferred. Certified Case Manager certification, CDMS and our CRRN preferred. A lot of these certifications are not necessary. For some reason, some companies prefer them, but whatever company you work for, they will train you how to do the job. Compact license is preferred. 3 years experience in workers' compensation case management preferred. Proficiency with Microsoft Office products, and bilingual in Spanish is a plus. And the pay range for this job is $71,000 to $104,000.